You're listening to The Scrimmage with Daniel Hargrove and Justin Domashevitz.
But Justin, we also have another player who is now playing Division I athletics. And I'm very excited that this week's Ole Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week is Sam Winter, Montesano's own, who is now on the Boise State Broncos basketball team, walked on there at Boise State, and I can't be more excited for him, especially everything that he's gone through with how his high school career ended. You know, you see something like that and you almost assume that, well, that's your athletic career ended, besides, you know, like intramurals or something.
For just a average person, I don't know how parents and regular fans consume high school games. I know that, Daniel, because you and I have been doing some combination of writing and covering for the newspaper, photography, and radio broadcasts for these kids for many years now. I feel like we get invested in these kids to the point where, like, we talk about this every year, you know, at the end of basketball season, watching the seniors walk off the court for the last time. It's emotional. It becomes emotional. Like, you watch these kids, you watch the realization come over their faces that it's over. Mm-hmm. And it's hard. And I know when you and I we were in different spots, but when we were watching Montesano's playoff game and when Sam Winter went down with his knee injury and it immediately looked like this is going to be bad, my heart broke. Like, I was emotionally devastated to watch that happen to him, because Sam, I knew in that moment that if this is bad enough, it's not only going to cost him a chance to take his team further in the state playoffs in football, but it's going to cost him potentially a season in the sport that he's best at, which is basketball, and the one I think he cares most about. And to see him be able to continue his athletic career, because just from talking to his dad, I was asking him before if Sam was planning on playing any college sports, because he is that level of athlete that I had always thought, you know, when we see kids who excel, maybe they'll continue to play at the next level. He was going to Boise State. Even when he was healthy, he was going to go to Boise State, and he was going to go there not because he was recruited there. He was going to go there because that's where he wanted to go to school. And to find out that he has a chance to continue that athletic career is so uplifting. It's such an amazing thought to know that this kid, who not only is incredibly talented, but also is just a really great kid. You know, he's one of the nicest kids you'll ever meet. I've known him since he was in grade school. He used to come to Sunday school class when I taught Sunday school class at our church, and he was always one of the kindest, most well-behaved kids. He always had a smile on his face. But Sam, just to be able to see him succeed and see a good person be rewarded it's a really good feeling.
It's an awesome feeling, and you're probably wondering why I just got that weird face on my face.
Yeah.
Weird look on my face.
You have another face on your face?
And I got another face on my face. Well, I just popped up. First of all, I went to the Boise State roster to scroll down and be like, oh, he's number 22. You know, looking at that. Also, Andrew, not on their roster, not the shortest player. He's tied for being the shortest player. There's a couple other 6'2" guys. And then I scrolled over to their schedule. I'm like, oh, they've played 2 games already. They're 1-1. They lost to Houston 68-58, and then they crushed Sam Houston State 86-55. So I'm like, oh, well, I'll click on that box score. And wouldn't you know it, Sam Winter got into the game.
All right.
Nice. He played 0+ minutes, so it was at the very end. So, but hey, for a walk-on, like, that doesn't happen too often in the first 2 games.
Seriously.
So Sam got on the court. He can say he has played in a Division I college basketball game already. Like, I was not expecting it to happen that quickly. I gotta say that
the team of realtors at Ole Penn Real Estate wish you and your family good health during this stay home, stay safe time. Their team has health and safety measures in place to protect you and everyone involved in the process. If you're thinking about selling your home, now is a great time. There are more buyers than available homes. Many homes are still receiving multiple offers and are selling for above asking price. Ole Penn Real Estate will help you put the most money possible in your pocket in less time without the hassle. Visit sellmyharborhome.com to get your home market ready. The Ole Penn team is ready to work for you.
That shows something quickly of what his coach thinks about him. Not only that he made the team as a walk-on from Montesano, but that he's already seen the floor. I know that it's not for much play time or
Why'd you say
anything.
Montesano like that? It's a walk-on from Montesano.
It's a very small school. Don't try and make something of this that it's not.
Doesn't sound like me.
Don't yeah, okay. Don't try and do that. Don't try and make me out to be a bad guy here. From a small town. He's a walk-on from a small town. Is that fine? Does that sound better?
That's better, yeah.
Yeah, I would have seen the same thing from any town around here. Seriously though, like, especially like you said, watching players come off the court. I remember in their basketball season how Sam was around that basketball program through the whole season. He was at every practice. Every time we talked to Coach Galloway, he's like, he's at every practice. He's always here. He's doing everything he can to help out the team, knowing he's not going to be able to play. And on senior night, they have him come out onto the floor to log some, just, be on the floor for your senior night. And I thought, you don't get that kind of gesture for every player who gets hurt. And I feel like that shows the type of impact that he had, not only on his teammates, but his coaches, for them to want to do something like that for him. Because players get hurt all the time, and you don't always see that happen.
Well, it's a great example because I think a lot of players who were hurt, coaches really wouldn't want them to be there trying to, have input on what was going on in the game. But when Sam went down, then our friend Braden Dorman played point guard, and we talked to Braden after that, and Braden was like, yeah, actually it was really nice to have him there because not only was he like an additional coach, but he knew my position inside and out, and I could take a break and he could say, here's what I'm seeing, and it was valuable insight. So, it is really useful. It was useful to have him there, and like you said, that definitely wouldn't be true of every player. If you think about like who Sam is as a basketball player, I think if you have to like break it down to one word, the word would just be smooth. Like there's certain guys who make everything look effortless, and it never looks like they're moving fast or trying hard, and then all of a sudden they're just past you. And in football and in basketball, I just felt that's what Sam was. Like, he never wasted a motion. He never wasted a movement. He was just the smoothest guy.
That's an excellent way to describe it. Smooth. It seemed like on the football field he would just glide.
Yes, exactly.
Just kind of glide right by you. And you see other players who are extremely, because he's super fast. And you see other players who are really fast. And man, their feet are going mile a minute. And they're just like, and their body's jerking all around. And he's just kind of, he's 20 yards ahead of everybody.
How did you get so far ahead of me?
Exactly. And it's just kind of like, that happened. It doesn't look like anything. And it was kind of the same way on the basketball court sometimes as well, where it's just flowed right by you, and all of a sudden you have no shot. Real quick, I was counting up the number of players on the roster. There's 15 players on the Boise State roster. Only 12 of them played, and that includes Sam. So there was 3 players who didn't play.
And he was a walk-on from Montesano.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, Sam is definitely one of somebody who I loved watch play so much, both basketball and football. And watching that last game for the football season I felt sick. I've seen teams that I've been rooting for lose in really hard ways at the ends of the playoffs before. I'd never had that added feeling of knowing that, or assuming that from what the injury we saw, that one of my favorite players also wouldn't be able to play the next season and maybe beyond because of what happened in that game. Like, I haven't seen that before. And so it was this frustration and sadness that this team, who I thought had a chance at the state title game because I thought they were that good, and they almost rebounded in that game from that devastating loss. Once they had time to figure it out at halftime, they almost came back and won that game because they're that good. not only did I have the frustration and like upsetness that this team could have been, a state championship type team, but also just that sick feeling of like, that's the type of thing that from watching him get hurt like that, you just felt sick. I felt like I was going to throw up when it happened.
And it feels like a triumphant story.
It does.
And I feel mostly like because Sam is a great athlete that I enjoyed watching, but because I have had the opportunity to know Sam a little bit, that I just appreciate the fact that a good person who worked hard and had his heart in the right place and his mind in the right place gets rewarded with something like this. Like
Absolutely.
that just, it means and feels like so much more because not just of who Sam is as a player, but because of who he is as a person. It just makes it so much more meaningful.
Absolutely. I can't agree more with that. He's such a good kid. We've had him on the show before along with Braden. I wasn't here during that, but I've had the chance to talk to Sam a couple of times and can't be more impressed with him as a person as well as a player. So that is our Ole Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week. It's Sam Winter, who is on the Boise State University Broncos basketball team, and we are definitely going to be following that team throughout the season, hoping that they can have a successful one as well.